Welcome, Aries, to the Indigo Void. Today I'll be doing a general reading with a You versus the World spread, as long as an Indigo Angel's Oracle at the end of the reading. So it's Sunday, so the sun is exalted in your sign, so I figure I'd do you and Leo today. I just finished up Leo right now, as is their natural house, and you're all exaltation. So, very much looking forward. I'll be doing these readings typically during planetary days of signs. So I guess tomorrow's the moon, so I'll be doing Cancer and Taurus, as Cancer's its home sign, as well as Taurus is where the moon is exalted in. So we'll see how that plays out for the future. So get one more shuffle. I'm using the Mystic Tarot for the general spread, for the You Against the World spread, and the Holographic Tarot, and the Indigo Angels by Dorian Virtue for the Oracle. Right at the center of the reading, we have the Two of Swords. So Two of Swords overlaid by the Wheel of Fortune. On top is the Justice card. On the bottom is the Eight of Wands. In the recent past is the Four of Swords. In the near future is the Page of Swords. The advice is the High Priestess. How others are seeing you is the Two of Wands. And your hopes and fears, mainly hopes, is the Moon. And the outcome is the Eight of Pentacles. So far, what I can see by this is that, having to make a choice internally, being guarded on which path to take, intellectually, whether it be with a people, place, or thing, situation, it doesn't really matter as it's a general reading. So what I'm trying to say is that being indecisive, whatever, is the worst thing you possibly do. At times, being an Aries, being cautious, it doesn't sound anything like what an Aries that I would know would do is to make a decision between two paths. They tend to, in my experience, just, why not both? I'm just going to squash one, and if it's not the right one, I'll just go right after the other one mentality. And it's overlaid by the Wheel of Fortune, so it's almost like you're waiting for the universe to, figure out when you're supposed to make a decision based on the universe giving you a clear sign, which does not sound like an Aries at all. You could be, a more mature person by watching this, but you could also have other aspects in short that give you a few more moments of clarity or calmness before you take action, because I see a lot of thought, very few wands, a couple major arcana with one pentacle card, and I can see two wand cards, and the rest of them are pretty much swords, so it's so on top of it is the Justice card, and below is the Eight of Wands. So with waiting for the universe to tell you on how, or give you a clear sign on how to process something within your mind, or a choice you have to make. The Justice card is letting you know on the top is that's what you're expressing. Justice depicts a very cold person that has no emotion whatsoever when it comes to making a decision or how it should be played out. It's all about the facts. So if the facts or the evidence comes through saying this person is guilty, well, they're guilty. It doesn't matter how much I like them. It doesn't matter if my brother, sister, lover, best friend, or anything else, is that it comes to the facts. And below you is Eight of Wands. So whatever justice situation or decision that's coming through, it's going to need, you're hoping for swift results. So it's almost like, once you've made a decision on how something should be fairly treated or taken care of or established, this to me looks like, whatever you're hoping for, once your choice is made, that you hope for swift action to be continuing. So you're telling the universe to hurry up and make a choice, because you want these results. And what we don't realize often is that the more we actually lust for results, is what I call it, it's more typical that we face delays, having to be in a rush on our way to a situation or an appointment, and we're not, in my experience, whatever, typically having to leave at the last minute, expecting all the lights to be green, or for us to find a parking space when we get there, is typically not common in my experience. Usually, and it can be upsetting because we could leave, sometimes a half an hour early, and we get there a half an hour early, whereas we can leave 5 minutes before we're supposed to be there, and it takes us 5 minutes just to get down the street because of traffic buildup or things we can determine, bridges closed, trains stop the tracks. So it can be very frustrating. And in the recent past, we had the Four of Swords, so this is, mentally decompressing, and allowing the thoughts to go away. So this is not like, an Aries in my experience. How can you possibly, see value in taking inaction? You know, um, but honestly, maybe you could just be exhausted mentally, where you just don't have the energy to actually do something anymore. How could you constantly fight without rest? So it seems like you were recharging your batteries mentally and detaching from a situation to look at it fairly, understanding that if you're going to get the best facts, you can't be rushing and allowing your mind to trigger your emotions to acting irrationally and making a choice that honestly would either not benefit you or benefit somebody that you're looking to deal with. Whether it be a situation, people, places, or things, it makes no difference on how you handle these situations. It could be a relationship, a work thing, or a financial thing, or based on just a general living of life. Dealing with parents, adults, kids, children. Doesn't matter if they're yours or somebody else's. It just seems like how you handle the world in general. I can see that you took a break in the past and you're looking for fair results, and you're waiting for the universe to give you a clear sign. Maybe you're waiting for documents, paperwork. It could be anything from having to wait for if you're on disability or unemployment, or even the general world. You're waiting to see if there'll be another stimulus check if you're in the U.S. How could you not? You're just saying that I need more support. I'm waiting to see if my business will survive. I'm waiting to see if I'm able to start a new business. I'm waiting for a job interview. Am I having to start a new path? Was I self-employed before and now I'm working for a business, or vice versa? My business closed down, or the business I was working for is cutting my hours. So I have to wait for the universe to respond to what's worth my time or not. Am I supposed to, go from making this much money to this much money? What should I invest my time in? In the Page of Swords, that you're looking for results. It could be anything from watching this reading. The Page of Swords is constantly, added into like spying. That's what the typical, when I watch tarot readings online, the typical thing I see with the Page of Swords is spying. And you just want to know, you're less for results. I mean, who doesn't? You're honestly watching this because you want a clear understanding of how am I supposed to approach my current situation, or it's a reflection in the moment. That's what I typically define tarot as, is reflecting on the moment that we're experiencing and getting clarity over a situation, or allowing us to process it, because each of these cards helps us identify a certain solution or a certain spot or an aspect of our current spaghetti bowl of thought processes. So from the Page of Swords, I can see that you're looking for signs and symbols and trying to identify the situation. This could be effort you're putting into, and trying to find out what the best thing is going to happen. But deep inside, what you really want is just something to return and respond to you. Honestly, just giving you action, or responding to whatever you're thinking. So your thoughts are honestly up in your head right now, and that does sound like an Aries, which makes clarity. And instead of a lot of wand action where you're taking action, this could be definitely somebody that's stuck in their head, and you're using those Aries traits where you're really a lot of movement up there. You could be perfectly still right now, and you could be constantly moving up there. Very strange. So, and the advice is the High Priestess, and from the High Priestess, we can simply see as that it's just not going to be time yet. Understand that the unconscious within you is the one that, or not the unconscious, but the subconscious within you, it has all the results. And we understand that it's what we believe. We attract what we are, not what we want, is what it's trying to say. And if internally, subconsciously, if you believe that you're supposed to have these issues or problems or whatever, those things can be sorted out because it's reflecting on the universe above you. So if you're unhappy with the situation you're facing, whatever, it's knowing that the divine does understand and hears your call, but ultimately your programming within inside you is needs rewiring or addressing. So it's just unknown. It's just the advice is just to either understand it's going to be a process where you're not meant to understand at this time, or it's saying whatever you do know, it's saying say nothing. So if you have intellectual knowledge or secrets over somebody or a certain thing that you're trying to achieve, it's best saying to keep quiet, but also understand that it's going to manifest in its due time. There is divine timing. Understand that the more you push for it, the less likely it's going to work. And if you speak about it or act hastily to bring it out to its understanding, like interrogating the situation, whatever, it's going to backfire, or it's going to manifest. It's just saying have patience, and it'll happen in the right place at the right time. So just my advice is to whatever situation you're dealing with, whatever, especially if you have insider knowledge, or if you know something, or if you did figure out from the Page of Swords, I would keep quiet about it. That's what my advice to you would be from the reading. And so how others are seeing you is the Two of Wands. Um, so this card is worth showing. So the Two of Wands, kind of see in the mirror. So he has two things, but he's also looking back towards him. So the centaur in that is actually, or I believe it's a centaur. Anyway, that's Chiron. So it's pretty much Jason dealing with Chiron, and Chiron is the one that's been teaching a lot of the warriors in the mythologies about that are well known. And at the same time, he's looking cautiously, because as much as he's looking out in the world with his two wands, the wisdom of Chiron, is sketchy. Let's just be real. Is that he's inside a dark cave, and we could honestly have the ambition. We could have our mind and body, but our spirit's unknown. We can have the spiritual and body, but no action. We could have all the education in the world, but to not take action or to understand how to apply it properly. The biggest lie ever is knowledge is power. The application of knowledge is power. So understanding is the most important thing. So what I can say is, by the Two of Wands, or others are seeing you, is I see you're a very high qualified person, but you may not have first-hand experience, or you have lots of first-hand experience, but it's honestly not worth making you qualified. The best thing I would say is that people around you see that you have almost like you're two-thirds. So they see you as somebody that's willing to do the work, but at the same time is that you could be hasty in your decisions. So I wouldn't take that as a bad thing, though. A lot of people enjoy people that are go-getters and have first-hand experience, or but the thing is, though, is that you can't be afraid to understand that you can always improve yourself, and make sure you're spending your time wisely on investing in things. Take action, but also understand that everything you're doing is it has value in it. What you do with your time, is not only judged by yourself, but it's judged by others. People will respect you more if they can tell you spend your time on things that they hold a value. And if you don't give a fuck what other people think, then it's understanding that it's your time and it's your choices. Just take responsibility, because remember, my reality, my responsibility. And so your hopes and fears, typically I just decide to do hopes. I don't know why I say fears all the time, but it's the moon. So of course, we can understand right back to the High Priestess, is that the moon, of course, it does with unclarity, it does with darkness, it does with deception. Figuring out a situation is just nearly impossible, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just reflecting the sun's light. So it's just part of ebb and flow, and it's just knowing that that maybe something is just foggy right now. You could be facing difficulty, whether it be people, place, or things. Work, career, money, or relationships. It doesn't really matter. It can be the unknown that's driving you nuts right now. But at the same time, is knowing that the moon is just temporary. It's just a phase within the fool's journey, and you're just hoping to survive the night. It looks like what I can get from this card right here is not knowing, especially if you're in Aries, rising, it doesn't really matter yours, because especially if you're Aries rising, whatever, it can be very upsetting to not have clarity in the answers around you, because you want to go, and it's the moon card reminds me of driving without headlights on in a pitch black country road. And as much as we want to haul ass to get to a safe zone or to the nearest place, and it's best just to cautiously go at a snail's pace, or sometimes even wiser just to pull over and wait it out until the sun rises. And that could be the last thing in Aries, especially that in my experience would want to hear, is stop. So I just think that the moon is guiding you by saying that what you're hoping for, it's allowing you to see it through a different point of view at the moment. Understand that the reflecting of the sun, which the sun represents the happiest, the most joyous of the cards in the deck, whatever. The moon necessarily isn't the opposite, but it's allowing you to know that it could be over the horizon, that it still exists, that don't give up hope, that intuitive feeling, knowing that the sun card can manifest. It's just being reflected off the moon. So it's almost like you're not getting the full force, but it's also a symbol of knowing what your actions could come. And this goes back into the advice of the High Priestess. The moon and the High Priestess go hand in hand, because it's both the subconscious mind. So it's by understanding the High Priestess uses the subconscious to reprogram to the same way the moon does. It clouds. We can't understand. We don't have exact clarity of it. So it's important for us to realize that the moon can reflect our subconscious. If you invest time understanding it, whatever, it can deliver 10 times as much results to us if we just learn how to understand it. So invest in that. And the final outcome is the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is, um, you know, taking money. You know, Eight of Pentacles is taking money to make money. In my experience, whatever it's you investing in something that's worthwhile, that other people will find very important and useful, and not only to other people, but more importantly to yourself. Because in this card, this person is alone. He's finding value in what he's spending time on and becoming better at. So that's the most important thing you can do, is that if you are taking time, if you are lusting for results, if you're hoping for quick action, if you're hoping for something fair in your life, and you're waiting for the universe to give you a divine answer, I hope this reading can resonate with that by telling you is that other people are judging you by saying that you take a lot of action, but you waste your time on petty things. So add the third element to have the Three of Wands to watch your trips come in. So if you have the three elements, mind, body, and spirit, into what you're investing your time into, the High Priestess will open up and reward you through the moon by saying, see, because you trusted your subconscious, you trusted your gut feeling, you invested your time, you achieved that third wand of investing your time, mind, body, and spirit aligned. You achieve praxis, which is the act of believing through your action, or practicing your beliefs, whatever. You're able to achieve something worth passionately investing your time in, and therefore people will turn to respect you higher because they can see you enthusiastically speaking on something that reflects within you, and they might see a value within you because you have that ability knowing I'm spending my time doing what's worthy to me. And a lot of people vibrate off that very well, because people that live their passions are honestly more fun people to be around. The worst people out there are the ones that spend life doing it for a simple thing. Just doing it for the money often makes you miserable. If you're just doing a job for the job or for the payout, it's not going to last long, and in frequency-wise, people are not going to want to be around you. So, we're going to do the Aries against the world spread, the holographic tarot. Whew. This is similar to a relationship spread, but instead it's you against the world. So, the mutual energy between you and the world is the Ten of Pentacles. Yes. I mean, how could you not want to hear that? I mean, especially having a relationship between you and the world around you. It wants your fulfillment, and you want the fulfillment. You know what I mean? It's saying the world does cherish what you will accomplish. You know, it's saying that the world around you can benefit from how you spend your time, what you believe in, what you're doing, who you're with. You know, over your overall energy, it's important to realize that at the end of the day, you know, my responsibility, my reality. I'm gonna keep on saying that because that's how important it is. But you know, just not having that pessimistic outlook on life where it just says, you know, the world just wants me to fail. You know, that's just not true. You know, it could seem like that. We all start from different starting points within this world, but it's important to realize that you can and you will achieve things. You know, if you just have that mindset, that if you just get out of that victim mentality right away and just stop saying I can't and just start saying, you know what, if I can't do, I'm gonna try. You know, so let's go to your energy and the world's energy. So current situation for you and the world is that, so for your situation is the Strength card. So, and on the world it's the Three of Pentacles. So it's important to understand that you know, that you need to realize that as much as you can have physical control over your choice, that you have to understand that this is a strong divine spirit that's overguarding. You know, if you're not a person that believes into a higher power, I don't understand why you're even watching this. But if you do, then you're halfway there, because that's the knowledge you need to use, because they say knowledge is power, right? No, it's the application of the knowledge. Okay, understand the divine is there. Now understand how to, you know, trigger the divine. Make sure you show gratitude for it. I'm not saying you have to go to a church. I'm not saying you have to do any kind of rituals, but I'm saying is understand that it's all in divine timing. So even if you do not believe, and even if you don't believe that right now, you're actually in the perfect place at the right time, doing the right thing. And you know, if you just understand that your starting point could be whenever you want to, it could be right now. You can stop watching this video right now and identify that it does not matter how much action you take over this world. If you do not understand that there is a higher divine spirit or consciousness, whatever, over that, through faith. That's exactly what I'm trying to say here, is that through faith in yourself, you can, be the most powerful version of yourself. I mean, the divine, feminine divine, the subconscious is ruling over the lion, which is like the male archetype or ruler, the most powerful, king of the jungle mentality. It's just saying, allow the divine to, have faith in the divine to guide you to be the king of the jungle, of your jungle. Whereas the world is saying, through the Three of Pentacles, it's saying, I'm going to reward you just for having this clear understanding. It's not the work is done, but I'm going to teach you and reward you through being able to have the ability, to have the knowledge, to have, it's saying, I'm giving you an advance for a job that I know is not completely. It's just saying that I know you're qualified for the job. So how could it not, reward you? So the Ten of Pentacles and the mutual energy, it's saying, through your faith of understanding of a higher power, universe is saying, okay, I now find you qualified through mind, body, and spirit, and that you're living through a praxis, which is the practice of believing through your actions, or actions through your beliefs, that you are qualified to continue to invest, and you can build things. Because in this card, you can see he's building a chapel, and if you've ever seen chapels, just look them up on Google, they're very intense architecture, especially for how old some of them are. I actually got to go to Notre Dame before it burned down, but it is incredible architecture, and only those are most qualified. It's not a hut, it's not a garden shed, that takes some amazing, skill to do, and recognize that's exactly what the universe is saying, become qualified, and so the next next card for you is the Eight of Pentacles. Again, in the world, is the Two of Swords. So it's coming down to it is that you're investing in something that's worthy of an apprenticeship, worthy of your time, and becoming heavily focused on it. But this is not like it's not like the Seven of Pentacles. It's saying that you're investing in something that's worthy of your time, worthy of growth, that will give you more than just raking up leaves. It's saying, I will invest my time in something that will allow me to prosper, and not only that, I'll be having a reputation for it, of value. Anybody can rake up leaves. Anybody can do that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that's not a heavy profit, but as far as being passionate about something and proving a valuable skill of the rest of us around, because the more valuable your service, and the better you're able to provide that service or whatever, that achieves huge value. And that could be on a relationship basis too, is that the more you invest in something that's worthwhile, especially if you're having difficulties in a relationship right now, you need to reinvest into something within yourself that increases your self-value, and your vibration will attract not what you want, but who you are. So if you're having difficulty with people around you, would be a boss you're dealing with, or a certain type of people in your job industry that you're attracting, or just like, the type of mindset or immediate people around you, that's a reflection of your own self-value. So if you're constantly dealing with people that are, not what you feel are your type, it means that subconsciously that you're calling in these people, because either you have low self-esteem or you have high self-esteem. And if you feel peace within yourself, it's just saying, continue to build on top of that. It's almost like I don't know, it's like a moth to a flame. I mean, a moth goes straight to that flame and it sticks around it, and it'll keep on butting its head up against that light bulb. And I don't know if there's ever I don't understand why they even do that. But what I can say is that be like the moth when it comes to something you feel brings you value, because if it's something that you're passionate about, whatever, and I really would recommend it not be a person, because I mean, you can't control people, places, or things, but you can control on a skill that maybe only you can be very qualified at. And even if you don't know it right now, like how to do it, you know what I mean? Like maybe you can bring a spin on it where people can definitely, benefit from it, or you can even improve it. Like if you even like that psychologist, whatever, the guy started out in a bookstore. I forgot his name. Oh, it was the Skinner's Box. A quick history lesson on him, whatever. He was in a bookstore, and he just came across some literature, whatever, and like he was. I know over 25 when he decided this, and the next he's like, he invented a whole psychology system, which I don't honestly always agree with, but I'm just saying is that, just think about this, the guy started off in a bookstore, at a certain age, past his prime, and he became the most significant person that we still quote to this day in psychology and modern psychology. So it's never too late. And the world's saying through the Two of Swords, it's letting you know that it's important for you to make a choice. It's saying that what you're going to invest in, whatever, just spend your time on it wisely. You know, if you just stop dilly-daddling, if you stop making, putting up two things on the pedestal at once and just put one thing to focus on, one thing to charge at, Aries. I mean, that's one thing, is that you're able to get shit done. Get shit done and stop, splitting your head in two, because you only have two heads, or if you're a guy, you have two heads. But what I'm trying to say is that if you have, one direction, one goal, and you have to use that drive, whatever, you can accomplish so much. So stop stop being on the fence about something intellectually. So if you have to sacrifice one thing to another, it should drive you that much further, because, it really sucks having to choose between two things. But as soon as you let one thing go, and you focus on one thing that has value, trust me, it just works out that way. It just works out. Ooh, and crazy. So on the final cards for each side, whatever, you have the Queen of Pentacles, and the world has the King of Pentacles. So it's just in harmony. That's what I can see here. And that's what we can see at the end of the reading is the Ten of Pentacles, whatever. At the end of the day, the final advice for you in the world is just saying is that that to be as the King and Queen of Pentacles, whatever, it's nice to see these together, because it's saying that through a happy foundation, through investing in yourself, to understanding that through, having faith, investing in something that's worth your time, you can have the strong foundation to build upon, where people can trust you, and you can have that calm mentality where you don't have to feel like as if you constantly have to have choices. I mean, that's the thing. We can look down the line on the King is the Three of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, and the King of Pentacles at the bottom. We can kind of see the trials and tribulations through it. So faith, hard work, prosperity through financial means, a strong foundation to build upon, investing in oneself, having a lot of self-worth, being calm, trustworthy, and overall contentment, not having to make hasty choices and decisions because you invest enough into yourself, where where one thing fails, you always have yourself and your choices. So imagine being the best person ever, because you're not relying on somebody else to fulfill you. That's the Queen of Pentacles. Whereas, the Three of Pentacles, through qualification, so your qualifications allow you to become, trusted with your service, even though before you've completed a job. Understanding indecision allows the King of Pentacles to be trusted to manifest everything around him. People know when he says he's going to do something, or what he's achieved on something, they trust his word for it, because he's qualified, because he's invested in, whatever. He has so many things around him that show his expressions, his completions, whatever, that people can see from his long-lasting work and success, whether it be in the closing things, the relationships he has, or within the amount of effort he's put into his work, or just quality of his work, or his service, whatever. People honestly come to him knowing that whatever he's going to do, he'll do it well. So ultimately, the world is just saying, you deserve the Ten of Pentacles. So, yeah. That's you versus the world. So honestly, it's not very bad. It sounds like the world's kind of on your side. It sounds like it really wants your success. So now we're going to do the Indigo Angels. One card for Aries. One card for Aries. Ooh. Boom. Right off the bat. Time to create. So time to create. This card calls for you to get in touch with your creativity and express yourself through art, inventing, or performing. As an indigo, you have a lot of pent-up energy that needs an outlet. It's time to create something from nothing. Knowing that you're a divine channel of inspiration, the angels ask you to bring something unique to this planet that can only come from you. Ask them to work through you, and together you'll make a masterpiece that will bring blessings to the world. Embracing your creativity helps you realize that your ability to manifest in this lifetime is only limited by your imagination. I mean, that just speaks in tandem with what I was saying. So that's what the reading will be called. Time to create. If you're not qualified, get qualified. If you're indecision, or you're waiting for the universe to tell you what to do, just trust deep and understand that it's always around you, whether you connect to it or not. Remember, my responsibility, my reality, my responsibility. All right, thank you, Aries. See you again.